In 1987, a movie hit theaters about greed and corruption on Wall Street. Critics loved it. Business schools assigned it. Professors used it as a warning about everything wrong with American capitalism. There was just one problem. The wrong people took the wrong lesson from it. And it has quietly cost an entire generation of Americans more money than any market crash, any recession, any financial crisis in history. The movie was Wall Street. The most famous line in it was 3 words, and those 3 words stuck in the minds of an entire generation and rewired how they thought about money, success, and what it means to actually be wealthy. My name is Joe, and by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly where it all went wrong and what the people who actually got rich from that movie understood that everyone else completely missed. And if you've ever financed a car, upgraded your lifestyle the second your income went up, or spent money on something you didn't need because of how it would look to someone else, you probably heard the wrong version of that speech. This video is for you. October 1987. A large corporate roundtable packed with businessmen in dark suits and ties seated in rows. Gordon Gekko, tall, dark hair slicked straight back, a perfectly fitted charcoal suit, walks to the front of the room. His speech was about 2 minutes long, but the 3 words that stuck in the minds of an entire generation were these: greed is good. And every person who watched it on VHS, on cable, on DVD, on streaming for the next 4 decades heard something different depending on who they were. The academics heard a villain revealing himself. The regulators heard a confession. The film professors heard a morality tale about the dangers of unchecked capitalism. But a very specific group of people heard something else entirely. They heard a philosophy. Not greed in the way most people think about it, not spending, not showing off, not the Ferrari or the red suspenders over a white dress shirt or the penthouse on Park Avenue. Something underneath all of that, something quieter and far more powerful. The relentless accumulation of assets, a stack of financial documents and stock certificates sitting on a large wooden desk, every dollar deployed toward ownership, nothing sitting idle. That was the real message underneath the performance, and the people who heard that version of the speech and acted on it got wealthy, quietly, without anyone noticing. Everyone else copied the costume. Here's what happened to the majority of people who watched that movie. They saw the lifestyle and mistook it for the strategy. They saw Gekko's Manhattan penthouse apartment and wanted that. They saw the black Mercedes in the parking garage and wanted that. They saw the way he walked into a room in those red suspenders and commanded it, and they thought that's what success looks like. Loud, visible, undeniable. So they started building that version of success, not with assets, with signals. The car that announces you've arrived, the watch on the wrist that tells everyone in the room you don't need to check the price tag, the neighborhood, the wardrobe, the whole performance running on credits and monthly payments, while the actual net worth quietly falls apart underneath it. An entire generation watched a fictional character accumulate ownership of companies and walked away thinking the lesson was to accumulate things. That is the most expensive misunderstanding in the history of American consumer culture, and the numbers prove it.
That 1987 Wall Street movie wasn't just a film. It was based on real men, real trades, real money. Men in suits inside glass office towers on Wall Street making deals worth millions of dollars. Here's something most people don't know. Gordon Gekko was not purely fictional. He was based on several real Wall Street figures from the 1980s, including Ivan Boesky, a man who said almost exactly the same thing 1 year before the movie came out. The real men that character was based on were not spending their money performing success. They were deploying it, putting it to work, turning every dollar into a mechanism for generating more dollars. A man sitting behind a desk covered in stock reports and financial statements, a telephone pressed to his ear. That is what Gekko was actually describing in that speech, not a lifestyle, a philosophy of capital. The audience heard the word greed and filled in the rest themselves. They filled it in with everything they already associated with wealth, the visible stuff, the loud stuff, the stuff that signals to other people that you've made it. And that misunderstanding has been working against them every single year since. Here is what the costume version of greed actually looks like in real life. You get a raise. Maybe it's $10,000 more a year. Maybe it's 20. Doesn't matter. The number goes up, and within 6 months, every single dollar of that raise has been absorbed into a higher lifestyle. You move into a bigger apartment, you upgrade the car, you start eating at better restaurants, you buy the watch you've been eyeing for 2 years because now you can justify it. The income went up, and the spending followed it instantly and automatically. That's not wealth building. That's working harder and earning more, but ending up in the same place every single month. The bank account looks the same, the stress looks the same, the only thing that changed is the address and the car in the driveway. Economists call this lifestyle creep. But that name makes it sound accidental, like it just kind of happened to you. It wasn't accidental. It was the direct result of hearing greed is good and thinking it meant you were supposed to show it. Every raise is a capital allocation decision. You can deploy it toward ownership, index funds, retirement accounts, assets that grow over time, or you can deploy it toward appearance, toward the signal, toward the performance of success that feels exciting for about 2 weeks before it just becomes your normal life. Same raise, same $10,000, you don't touch your lifestyle, you redirect the entire raise into the market. $10,000 a year for 25 years at 7% annual returns is $810,000. You didn't change your life to get that. You just didn't change your lifestyle when your income changed. That's the whole move. That's the Gecko philosophy without the costume. Capital deployed aggressively. Appearance ignored completely. One choice, made once, every single time the income goes up. That's the difference between building wealth and just earning more money. Here is the part of the movie that never gets quoted. Later in the film, Gecko sits across from a young man in a cheap suit at a large glass desk and lays out exactly how he thinks about money. He talks about accumulation, about never being satisfied with what you have, not because of ego, but because of the mathematical reality that capital either grows or it dies. It does not sit still. It does not maintain. It moves in one direction or the other. That scene never became a catchphrase. Nobody put it on a poster. Nobody quoted it in a speech because it wasn't glamorous. It was just true. The glamorous version, greed is good, say it loud, own the room, was the version that spread. And it spread because it told people what they wanted to hear, that wealth is loud, that success is visible, that the point of making money is to show it. That version made Hollywood billions. It made car dealerships billions. It made luxury brands billions. It just didn't make you anything.
Most people who watched the 1987 movie Wall Street, and every year since, copied the costume. But the people who actually got wealthy from Gordon Gekko's real philosophy look nothing like him. They look ordinary. They look like nobody special. They look like the guy standing behind you in line at Sam's Club, the guy in the lane next to you at a red light in a 7-year-old Honda Accord with a dented bumper, the guy in the chair across from you waiting for a $12 haircut at Cost Cutters. You'd never guess it, but that guy has been quietly doing what Gecko actually described for the last 20 years. Capital should never be idle. Every dollar should be working. Accumulation over appearance. Ownership over signals. He just applied it without the suspenders. The difference between him and everyone else isn't knowledge. It's where the money goes when the paycheck hits. His goes into the market. Most people don't. The tool I use to invest is Webull. Commission-free trading, no fees, and they're currently offering free stocks just for opening and funding an account. Every dollar sitting in a checking account is a dollar not compounding. Link is in the description. Takes about 5 minutes. So what does putting that philosophy into practice actually look like in 2026? It looks like treating every purchase as a capital allocation decision. Not can I afford this, but what does this cost me in compounding wealth over the next 25 years? It looks like watching your income go up and feeling nothing. No new apartment, no upgraded car, no watch, just a larger number moving into the market every single month, while your lifestyle stays exactly where it is. It looks like being the most boring person at the dinner table when someone asks what you drive, and being completely fine with that because you know something they don't.
It looks like building positions in the market the way Gecko built positions in companies, consistently, aggressively, without apologizing for it, without explaining it to anyone, without caring what anyone else thinks about your parking spot. That is the real philosophy. Not the Ferrari, not the suspenders, not the speech. The quiet, relentless accumulation of assets that nobody around you can see until it's too late for them to catch up. Gordon Gekko did not ruin an entire generation's finances. A misunderstanding did. The people who heard greed is good and thought it meant spend big, look rich, take up space, they paid for that misunderstanding every single month for the rest of their working lives, in car payments, in lease agreements, in watches and wardrobes in neighborhoods they couldn't actually afford. The people who heard it and thought it meant accumulate relentlessly, deploy capital aggressively, never let a dollar sit idle, they got wealthy, quietly, without anyone noticing, driving 10-year-old Hondas and packing lunch and letting compound interest do what a performance never could. Gordon Gekko was right. The audience just missed the point. The real question is, which version of that speech are you living right now? The costume or the philosophy? Because one of them compounds, and one of them just keeps sending a payment to someone else's bank account every single month. Drop in the comments which one you think most people took away from that movie. And if you've been living the costume version, and most people have, go watch this video next, because the math on what that's actually costing you is a lot worse than you think.